Good evening to everyone out there. This is Marco again with The Naked Truth. Tonight's topic right now, special edition on this Florida massacre. When are we going to learn? These events have been occurring. They are going to continue to occur as long as we continue on the same path that we have been on, the same path that our government has been on. This denial and not really getting into the main issues and problems that we are faced with in this country and around the world. This is something we must do, something we have to do. The shooter in this case claiming allegiance to ISIS and the leader of ISIS, something we've heard too many times. It comes at a great cost to those who have lost loved ones, to those who are injured in various ways, possibly for life, all of whom are scarred, along with their families and friends, scarred with this happening, this homegrown terrorist attack, whether it be at the behest of those who are radical Islamists, whether they're out of the country, in the country, regardlessly of any of that. We see the same thing happening over and over, and now the worst incident yet. My heartfelt regret for this incident and my most sincere condolences to those out there who lost loved ones, friends, colleagues in this event. The shooter, American but radicalized, possibly with mental health or abnormal issues in his mind. I won't name the shooter. Why? Because I don't feel that giving him credence by saying his name is even a good idea. I don't think it's a good thing. So it's not something I'm going to do at this time. I don't see the point in that. Regardless of the reasons behind it, which are probably multiple, and we'll find out more details as this goes along and the FBI and the authorities investigate this further. I'm sure that many other details will come out. One detail he talked about is that this individual had been scouting other and thinking of considering other sites to act in this manner, to wreak this devastation upon Americans here, our life. Disney World came up as a possible target that this individual had. When we have this or any other incident that is similar to this, this must be looked at thoroughly. This must be looked at in a lot of different ways. It must be forensically taken apart and dissected to try to obtain a better understanding. And one of the biggest issues here is that it is not just about that understanding, because without that understanding, without those insights, we don't have a lot of hope of stopping future incidents. And that should be the goal, should it not? We have to stop these future incidents from happening. Right now, as it stands, it appears that these things will most definitely continue, and they will very probably, in all likelihood, they will become worse. Where this right now stands as the most horrific, damaging attack that has been done so far, we can have others, I can assure you, that will come about that will outrank this one as the most. That's something that we cannot allow. We should not be allowing. The current administration has provided a path for these things to happen. They have done little of nothing to correct or stop this, even though it has been time and time and time again, going all the way back to the Fort Hood incident, and still calling that workplace violence. That is another definition of insanity or deliberate misleading of the American public. You and I, the people. These things must end. As I said, part of the process of this, you have to gather all the information, you have to get all the details, you have to put everything together, forensically diagnose it, the individual and the incident. There were other problems involved in this. Doors that were locked and no exits available to those that were in the building. That should have never happened. We can be sure of that. Situation where, and I'm still a little unclear here on this, why there was a 3-hour or more delay before they breached the building. I understand that there's protocols in place for police departments and such. I know that these things exist, and they have their playbooks, and if they think for 1 minute that others don't know about these playbooks, then they are mistaken. Whether he acted alone and believed he was a part of this, or whether he was acting on their behest, that will come about in time. Knowledge of that. Regardlessly, the results are very much the same. Devastation, destruction, killings. All in a way to make our lives more uncomfortable and make us feel more unsafe, which is part of their agenda. To create fear, to create apprehension, to create tension, to create turmoil, confusion, separation of those of us living here, to separate us, to disturb our culture, our society, our way of life. They attempt to do all these things, some of which they accomplish with a certain percentage of the population. I don't think this individual did the Disney World attack, in my opinion, at this point, early stage, yes, but looking at it from a type of forensic type of perspective, I think that it wasn't done there, and another location was chosen very much because of Disney would have greater security, greater risk, and the numbers would be more difficult to obtain by this individual in killings, injuries, and possibly, just possibly, this individual also maybe decided not to do Disney World because of the fact that children would be involved. Maybe that was a personal issue, maybe that was a broader issue that they want to instill fear and they want to kill and be terrorists, but maybe they want to draw a line so that they recruit more people. There are many different possibilities and questions still yet to be answered. The best thing that we can do is learn from these incidents to try to prevent further death, further harm, further injury to we, the people that live here. Things must change. I seriously doubt that Hillary Clinton will be any part of that change for the better. She has had many years of so-called service in the government, in more than one position, as we well know. And what has she really, really, totally accomplished? You need to really take a look at her record, professionally and personally. And by that I mean her as an individual person, her as a senator, her in the State Department. From what I can see, she has failed in most every foreign policy she has dealt with. It was a miserable failure in Syria. It was a miserable failure in Liberia. It was a miserable failure. Sorry, I can't speak tonight. In Iraq, it was a failure in most everything. She stands on the side of, after this incident, she, the president, etc., has the nerve to come on and immediately, almost immediately, go to that point of the guns. This has been discussed back and forth from every direction almost possible. There's nothing that makes any sense here except that it is pure terrorism. And in this case, probably hatred as well. But they are linked together. Most assuredly, they are linked together. We turn around in these situations and we do all the wondering why and so forth, but we don't do enough to change it. We don't do enough to stop this. We can't stop it without analyzing it properly. We can't stop it without taking the measures that are necessary and needed in order to make the changes. Hillary Clinton is not the answer. She contends with staying with primarily the current administration. That has proven not to work. That has proven to be the opposite of working. It has proven to be part of what has created this and perpetuated it. They're going down the wrong path, and those thinking that it is not this way are misinformed, or they're stupid as hell. I'm all for you voting for who you choose to vote for, and that's all well and fine. But I advise you strongly to really look at the record. This situation, as well as many other things in America here, we have to look at the forest and the trees. Both. Not one or the other, but both. Most definitely. Some of these incidences are linked to mental health issues. People get to certain points and we wonder, we say, oh, that person snapped and they did this or they did that. Terrible, terrible, horrific thing. Harmed, injured, killed others. They snapped. We don't understand. They were quiet and so forth. Because we have become this society of individuals, not society of togetherness. We need to have that togetherness. We need to have that understanding and tolerance of each other. But even that has a point, a limit. It can't just be free, anything, everything. That's part of the problem now. While there are plenty of good, great people of Muslim faith that are here, there are also those that are not. And other immigrants who have come here legally and illegally. The illegal immigration situation is so far out of control. That's really kind of another subject. In this particular incident, again, we need to look at everything. We need to learn from it. Without learning from it, we cannot continue forward and cannot hope to put a dent in these occurrences happening throughout our country, throughout the world. Some of this will require some drastic measures. But there again, we have to watch and be careful that we do not cross certain lines too far. If we do, then we're making just as much a mistake. We do have, all of us who live here, we do have Americans that are the heart of this country. And if you look around to what everything has happened, everything that hindsight is 2020, look behind us, and you will see what is forward. Or at least a large likelihood as to what is forward. I can assure you that we need to look at all of these incidents closer. We need to find better ways to correct it. Mental health issues are a part of it, and they are very low on the list with the current administration and government. They are low on the list for taking steps to research this more and doing more about it. We need to help each other. We need to have ways in place, new ways in place, new regulations, new guidelines in place that fit what is happening in the world and in the country at this time. What has been going on. When the hell do we wake up? When does everyone or enough of us wake up that we can turn around and we can really start to find a road to some of the resolutions, a path to finding better ways, more effective ways, ways that don't infringe upon us and kill all of our rights that are in place or take all our weapons away, but yet deal with the issues and problems. Now, ISIS has claimed responsibility for this, regardless of whether they actually are or not. They have claimed that responsibility, and since they have done so, they are responsible, in part or in completeness. And if they are, then the proper response would be retaliation to them, swiftly, directly, harshly. There has to be a way to deal with it. Hillary Clinton's track record and her, when I see her speaking and have heard her changes in her speeches and so forth, they're very well written and crafted, but it's just like any magician that is very good. They'll pull it off and you don't know how they did it. And you scratch your head and you wonder how. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that amazing? Well, this is not fun and amazing as she does this. It's destructive. And my guess is that if she were to be elected as the leader of this country, that what we see now going on would be nothing in comparison as to what would come. We have to take a strong stance, much stronger. We have to revamp many things. That doesn't mean adding 100 new laws necessarily to adjust to this. We have plenty of laws, many laws, too many in some cases. We have an entire huge portion of our society that are in jail or prison now or has been with their lives ruined, who are no longer first-class citizens anymore and can never be in most cases. Marked for life. We can't fix that. How the hell are we going to fix everything else? In situations like this. This must come to an end. That will take new leadership, and the people in America, we need to send the government a message. We do that by who we vote for. We do that by taking a stand. We do that by being informed and by seeing everything and reading between the lines when we need to. Many people don't. We're busy with our own lives, trying to survive, trying to thrive, trying to progress. It doesn't always work. We need to make more of an effort as Americans to do so. We can be better to the world, but we need to be better and more stable here in order to do that. Otherwise, we're burning the candle at both ends, or burning the candle at one end and not at the other at all. These things don't work. Anyone with any common sense should realize this. I don't know about anyone else, but I have great concern for the future of this country. I have great concern for the future generation and the one after that. I am in sincere hopes that we can find a better path, that we will at least make a better effort to find a better path. Going to place the blame where it belongs. Clinton's part of that problem. Look at her foundation and the money from countries that support this type of action. And the lies that this individual has told, proven lies that have been told. If she's going to do that more than once, then I guarantee she will do it again. Why should she stop? She has tremendous money. She has tremendous power. She has influence. And much of that money, power, and influence has come from other countries who are basically against us. It's time to make a change. I hope people will do so. I hope they will wake up and understand. This is not about Democrats and Republicans. This is not about left or right so much. This is not about, who's more conservative, who's more liberal. I don't give a damn about any of that. What I care about is what works. I don't care which side it's on, what works. And coming together and making it do exactly that, work. For the betterment of everyone here, for the betterment of the country. Then we can help others. But we have to be willing to do what it takes to get there. And we have to be willing to do what it takes to tell our government what is or is not allowable by the majority of the people here. There are ways to do that. Not enough people do. They're stuck. I hope with this and other broadcasts and various things that people will learn and they will take the steps needed to do so in the future. I wish everyone peace. This is Marco signing off.